Hello, Shachar Peled speaking to you, freelance translator since 1985, sharing some insight about the industry, the art, and the profession. And today I'm going to show you an actual correspondence that I had with an MLV in regard to the issue of machine translation. I'm going to fire up my Word to show you the conversation. Wait a minute, here it is. Okay, so this is my attempt to escape the machine. A real-life sample of an email correspondence I had on the issue with one of the world's largest providers. Its own client, the end client, decided, it's also a very large company, that is now going to populate all no-match strings with empty strings and cut the price by 30%. So I wrote to the PM, Dear PM, thank you for the update, but I'd like to ask about this sentence. The machine translated part should be edited, not retranslated. How can this be done? Machine translation into Hebrew is notoriously bad. If I don't edit it so that it is compatible with the original, the result can be real garbage. However, if I edit it, then I am translating it. In fact, I have to read the MT, then read the original, then retranslate the original in my mind, then edit the MT so that it reflects the true translation, a four-step process that includes translation plus editing, plus being stunned, I didn't say that, but I'm adding it for you, being stunned by the gibberish produced by the machine. I would appreciate your input on this problem. All the best, Shachar. Okay, so then after it took a long time, I just concatenated everything for you here, but it took a long time until they responded, and it went from one department to another, but this is what I got. Finally, this is the answer that I got. Hello, Shachar. First of all, sorry for the delay in resolving this issue. We need to check a few things. We checked some of your deliveries with machine translation, and we can see you regularly update them. Untrue, I never update them. I delete them, and then I translate them. But that's what they wrote. However, it does not seem that the original empty segments are not usable at all, definitely not useless or meaningless, like you indicated before. We ran a comparison for several files and it seems the segments are updated, but not translated from scratch, like if they would not make any sense. Some examples are below and a change report is attached for your reference. So let's look at the examples. This is in Hebrew, but I can explain it, no problem. The machine translation is on the right here, and what was changed from the machine translation, you see they now run a fuzzy match on the machine translation, comparing it with what the actual translator or post-editor actually did. So there's some funny things here. If you're a Hebrew reader, that you can enjoy the irony here. In any case, they showed here that it was used. Please note that they showed it was used because there were some words that were the same. Now, it's the same language, so even a machine that works lexigraphically will have words that you will also use. That is not the point. And even if you translate from scratch, you will have words. For example, the word paper will obviously be used in both if it's something about adjusting the paper in the printer or something. So the word printer will find itself in your translation just as in a machine translation, as will the word paper. The whole thing is that there's no context, it's just word by word. So now they're saying because there are words that are the same, it's obvious that you were editing the machine translation as if you were not able to translate by yourself. In any case, the bottom line, we believe that the machine translated segments needs an update, but not nonsensical. And that is why the 70% rate is actually adequate financial application for such content. Obviously, it's not, as I showed you the process. This is also the way we have set this whole project and valid for all languages and language teams that participate in this project. Of course, we value your participation in the project, so we would like our cooperation to continue, but please understand the rules that we have on the project. We have to come to an agreement here. Please let me know your thoughts. Kind regard, the TM. Okay, so you can imagine I was pretty crestfallen here when I got this. But okay, so that's the way the cookie crumbles. But I was here being, accused of something that I didn't do. I did not use. This is not my translation. So I wrote, thank you for your response. However, this is certainly not my work. I always translate from scratch. That's the first thing I do. I go into Trados and I just, remove all, delete all target translations before I even start, just to have a clean slate so I don't have to even look at the MT. But anyway, so I wrote to them, this is not my work. I always translate from scratch. It is a matter of professional integrity. There is no way to know what has to be changed in an empty segment without first translating the source, so you can find a discrepancy with the MT. This undermines the whole idea of a translation memory and fuzzy matches, where you can see what changes have to be made. So on the basis of the MT and the fuzzy matches, there's a new thing that doesn't even give you the fuzzy match, but just a botched translation that you have to address. This is really amazing. Okay, I'll continue with the letter. In any case, I will continue to always translate from scratch and will not waste time referring to weird configurations of words thrown together by a machine. I am really sorry that you have been forced to go down this road, which reduces quality and forces translators to become editors of bad translations without even the benefit of a translation memory to track changes. I will, of course, be happy to continue collaborating with you whenever quality is of paramount importance. So I was intimating that I'm not going to work on under these terms and so on. So, and of course, that this is not my translation. And then about quite a long time later, I received this response. Dear Shachar, thank you a lot for your response. As for the examples presented below, it may have in fact happened that I used one from a different batch. So my whole issue is that they took someone else's work and they said it was mine, and they proved from that I was using machine translation, which is, as you have gathered through, if you've been listening to a few of these videos, is completely antithetical to my ethos as a translator. So anyway, sorry, it may have happened sorry for that. Oops. Attached, however, you can see only the comparison reports from the batches you worked on for your reference. We understand actually value. So, okay, what they did was show my translation made from scratch and compared it with the machine translation. So, in fact, as I said, even though I translated from scratch, because there are words that will be found in a machine translation as well, especially the nouns, no problem with the nouns. The whole idea of the machine translation, the mechanization of the translator, is the nounization of the translator. The words become objects, nouns. Anyway, you can see you worked on for reference. We understand and actually value your responsible attitude. Of course, it's good that you translate from scratch because you're giving us quality bespoke work. Great translations. And your attitude to quality and your work with empty matches, all the same, we appreciate that you understand the rules we have on this project set by the client. So they're it's a half apology sort of thing, sorry, but really it's the client that sets it. And the client, savvy to the whole world of agencies and how they put pressure on translators and how they use the CAT tools to pressurize translators using the argument of reuse, are now pressuring the larger agencies, which are also under great competition stress, to pressurize translators. So it's come down from the top, it goes down from the end client through the MLV down to you as the freelance translator, and that's it. You're stuck with it. You want to continue working with us? Tough luck. We'd love you to continue doing your bespoke work, but we're going to pay you a lot less on those strings that we are going to just inject in place where it should say no translation, zero match. and it remains actually a zero match. Okay, this is a much longer clip than usual, more than twice as long. Apologies for taking up so much of your time, but I thought this was important because it shows you a real-life example from the industry where the whole issue of machine translation is cropping up increasingly.